This week's Torah portion is Pinchas, one of the most popular figures in the Bible. Pinchas is one of the sons of Aaron, and he summarily executes Cosby and Zimri, who, by the account of most commentators, are having sexual relations out in public in front of the tabernacle. Now, of course, the sexual relations themselves are not the big issue. They're important, but not the biggest issue. The biggest issue here, as our rabbis understand it, is that Cosby, a Midianite, was attracting the Jewish guys and engaging them in some kind of idol worship, and that this sexual act in front of the tabernacle was mirroring the pagan practices of other peoples in the ancient Near East. And Pinchas picks up a spear, a lance, and kills the two of them. Ultimately, even though this act offends our modern sensibilities, God rewards Pinchas with a brit shalom, with a covenant of peace, and he rewards Pinchas in that his descendants will, at least until King David changes the system, be the hereditary high priests of the tabernacle and ultimately the temple in Jerusalem. Today we look at Pinchas's actions as being horrific. We don't approve, perhaps, of what Cosby and Zimri were doing. We certainly don't condone idol worship in any form, but summarily executing people is a bit of a problem, especially when they're in the middle of a sex act. It really is kind of weird. But, on the other hand, we do use Pinchas as an example. There are some situations in life, in politics, in our communities, where action is simply required. Not killing someone, of course, but action is required. When it's time to take to the streets, when it's time to engage in perhaps not physical acts of violence, but certainly civil disobedience, because there are no other alternatives, because the system is no longer working and no longer taking care of its citizens the way it should. But this decision should be an agonizing one. It shouldn't be a split-second decision or something that happens at the spur of the moment. As good citizens, we are responsible for participating in the political process on all levels, whether that means petitioning, campaigning for candidates, donating and raising money for candidates and causes that are to our liking and express our preference of policies as best we can match them, on one hand. And on the other hand, there are moments, there are times when acts simply have to be taken to bring people's attention to injustices or threats to our society that are taking place. Pinchas becomes a hero that we would rather not emulate, but a hero nevertheless. The Parsha reminds us that we have the responsibility of thinking, discerning, and sometimes acting when our society and our people are in danger. Shabbat Shalom.